All right, so we're going to get started on our backs with the back of the on the back of the chair. And then we're going to add the block. We're not going to start with the block. We'll just have it within reach. So I'm just going to set up and then I'm going to come to the back to the computer. So if you have any questions about your alignment, I can take a peek. And it can be challenging to have something that is exactly the right height, but we're aiming for the knees over the hips. And what can happen is, we can be far away from here. And if you can shimmy forward, this facilitates more of a release in the that psoas muscle at the front of the hips. And then the ripple effect is that the lower back can relax. So take a few minutes here just to kind of fidget. Maybe once you get here, lift the hips and lengthen them and find that maybe little extra millimeter of space in the lower back. And you can start with the arms just comfortably extended from the body. So not a T position yet, with the palms facing upward. And I'm just going to come to the computer. So if you have any questions, this looks fantastic. Great. So take a few breaths here to scan your body. And sometimes it can be helpful to scan your body systematically, starting with the head and the neck, maybe letting your head gently roll from side to side. And as you do that, just notice if the chin is poking up. So as you roll your head side to side, the back of the neck is compressed. So just notice the position of the head. And then adjust it so that we don't feel compression on the front or the back of the neck. And then let your attention travel to the upper back. And as you breathe in, invite that gentle lift of the collarbones and a gentle stretch across the front of the shoulders. And as you exhale, intentionally press the arms into the mat a little bit. Spread the fingers wide. Can you get the pinky and the thumb to touch? And just feel that gentle stretch across the palms of the hand. And if it doesn't feel gentle, if it feels like too much, then you just reduce the amount of intensity. And take a couple of breaths here and notice as you stretch your palms, the ripple effect that you may feel through the arms and the shoulders. And as you enjoy a few breaths, you may notice that your body acclimates to this and the sensations become less noticeable. And so maybe you take the arms up a little bit higher, a little closer to a T position, but not all the way yet, because when we add this stretching of the arms, it does increase the intensity. And notice as you bring the arms up, what happens to the shoulders and the upper back or any other part of the body. So many times if we have a tight area of the body and we begin to move beyond the range of motion, other parts of the body compensate. So I invite you to be aware of that as you go through your practice. So not only noticing the body part that moves, but also noticing if there's any compensation developing in the body. And then the final sort of range of motion, just come to the place that you feel maybe a little bit more stretch, but no tingling or pinching. A lot of times that can indicate a pinched nerve, and that's a sign that you've gone beyond what your body's range of motion is sort of directing you to do. And if you find that your body, the shoulders and the arms are not relaxing and letting go here, then that's an indication that you may want to bring your arms down a little bit. And now let your attention come to the mid part of the torso, the ribs. And as you breathe in, invite the breath to inflate through the ribs, both the front, the sides, and the back. And just feel that full sort of torso expansion with the breath. Visualizing perhaps a gentle massaging effect. And as you breathe in, there's that opportunity for space. And then as you exhale, you soften just gently. And visualize the ribs as they come back to their set point or their sort of normal range of motion. You might find that there's, again, just a teeny bit more space in between the ribs. And now let your attention travel to the belly and the front of the hips. And as you breathe in, take a little bit longer so that the breath can go all the way down to the belly. Feel it expand like a balloon. And then as you exhale, take a little bit more time to let the exhale completely leave the body. The lower back and the back of the hips get heavy. And now when you're ready, you can take your block at the lowest point and place it behind the back of the head. And so here you're going to want to make sure that the neck feels comfortable. And if it doesn't, of course, you get rid of the block. And when you're ready, just a gentle rolling of the head from side to side. And you can put a little bit more pressure into the block with the head as you gently press the head into the block. And as I give these certain cues, different people can interpret them. So if you have a tendency to be an overdoer, then as I say, take your head a little bit more intentionally into the block. You might want to translate that to a little less. So again, just knowing what your tendencies are and inviting balance there. Now, if you'd like to transition to the second height of the block, you could support your head with your hand as you roll the block up. Now, the block is going to be narrower and a little bit more targeted towards the base of the skull where it meets the neck. And here, just take a moment and let the back of the head relax there. And here you might want to do a little drop of the chin and then a lift of the chin. So you might notice that different movements apply here. When you're ready, you could take the head side to side, noticing if one side feels a little bit tighter. And maybe you linger. So for example, maybe you have your head slightly tipped to the right, and then you begin to drop the chin and lift the chin. And you may notice some little crunchies here. And again, we have this cerebral spinal fluid circulating throughout the body. And when we offer these gentle massaging techniques, it can help to release any sort of stickiness or stuckness. So if you're enjoying one side, you could gently make your way to the other side. And when we were just connecting at the beginning of this practice, there was a lot of talk about just being sort of stiff and achy. And so when we can help to facilitate the fluid in the body, we might find that we have just a little bit more ease in our movements. So finishing up on the other side, if you chose to spend time side to side. And to come out, you can, again, use one hand to support the head and just escort it down to the floor as you remove the block. And slide the chair away from you, or maybe you need to roll to your side. And we're going to come with the knees bent and the feet on the floor. And draw the right leg in, and we'll just do a little bit of a stretching of the leg, flexing of the foot, and then bending. Again, getting those knee joint, the ankle joint, even the fascia along the bottom of the foot, just getting this all ready before we come to standing. And you're welcome to extend the left leg long. That's going to help create space in the front of that left hip flexor. But it may change the sensation that you feel in the right leg. So again, if your body compensates, just make note of that and notice if that compensation is serving you. And then let that right leg just pause, the knees bent. And if you're looking for something a little bit more cooling, a little bit more restorative, you're going to hang right here, hugging the leg in. If you're looking for something a little more active, a little bit more core strengthening, with the hands clasped behind the right thigh, first relax the lower back to the mat. And then press the right leg away from you. The knee stays bent, the hands are clasped, so it straightens the arm. And then press the leg a little bit more so that it actually pulls your head, your shoulders, your upper back off the mat. Keep drawing the belly button back. Now, it can be very challenging to relax the lower back here. Keep this action. Think about drawing your lower ribs towards your hip. Release the hands. Take them behind the head. Relax the head into the hands. Can you relax the neck? Can you relax the lower back? And just begin to pulse gently up and back. Up and back. Just one more time. And then lower all the way back to the mat. Unclasp the hands. Hug the right leg in again. And just gently rock that right knee side to side. Yeah, if you're ready for a gentle twist, you can take that right knee across the body and then decide where you want this right arm. How deep of a stretch are you ready for? Are you ready to stretch the palm of the right hand? And notice what shows up in the shoulder. Maybe even the bicep, you can feel gently stretch a little more by stretching the hand out. And now inhale, come back to center. Draw the left knee in to meet the right. Lower the right foot to the floor. Clasp behind the left thigh and begin straightening that left leg and then bending. Now, if you find your mind is busy and challenging to stay right here, see if you can direct it to just noticing the sensations in the leg. Notice the difference when the leg is straightening, when it's bending. Notice the joints. Maybe they become a little bit freer as you repeat this action. And then the next time the knee's bent, pause here. Extend the right leg long. And then decide, is this the best option for you today? If you want a little bit more, you can press that left thigh away from you. First, the arms get straight. Relax the lower back. So this is what we really want to do to protect the lower back. Relax the lower back, draw the lower belly button, or just, sorry, the belly button to the back of your body. And then think about drawing the lower ribs and the hips towards each other. It's like you have a little netting and you're just kind of tightening up that netting. And then press that left thigh away from you so you roll up. Now we're going to need a little bit of more core once we release the arms. So again, think about hugging the ribs towards the hips, relax the lower back, then release the hands, take them behind the head. Now, can you relax the neck? And then a gentle pulse up 3 times. And then release all the way down. Hug the left leg in and a gentle rocking side to side. If you're ready for a twist, take that left leg across the body. If not, then you can stay hugging that leg in. And of course, if this doesn't feel good on the ribs, you continue with a pose that feels supportive for your practice this morning. You could try extending the left palm, stretching the skin. Feel the thumb and the pinky drawing in the direction of the floor, and just notice any ripple effect that the stretching of the palm brings throughout the rest of the body. And then you inhale, you come back to center. Draw both knees in, and let's make some circles here. And in these circles, you're flowing between between arching the spine and then flattening it. And just notice how the 2 hips move in that sort of pelvic tilt action. It's not uncommon for the 2 sides to respond differently. And now let's reverse the direction. Then come back to center, extend the legs, extend the arms. And once again, make circles with the wrists and the ankles, getting ready to put some weight on them. And this is also really good for helping with that flow of lymph. So this is really good for the joints and the energy in the body. Reverse direction here. You pause, hug the knees in, and then slowly transition to the right and press up towards table. And of course, you're welcome to pad your knees. And if the hands or wrists are bothering you today, if you want to come on forearms, sometimes using the blocks gives you a little bit more freedom in the spine. Let's turn the toes under and enjoy a few rounds of cat and cow here. Next time you come in a neutral spine, you pause here, extend the left leg back, and just gently press out through the heel. And then option to extend the right arm forward. So this is going to work the upper psoas muscle. The palm faces towards the midline. Spread the palm. And then maybe you lift the left leg up, keeping the hips level. A couple more breaths here, really pressing into that left hand so you don't collapse. Lower the right hand down. Bend the left knee, flex the foot, and it's like you're stamping on the ceiling. So you press up and then you soften. Now, as you do this, you want to keep drawing the lower ribs towards the hips. So you want to feel your core active here. So it's not just working the glute, you're also working the left oblique. Pause here, straighten the leg again, and then take it over to the right. Look over the right shoulder. And then you come back to center. Extend the right leg back and take the time to invite space in the muscles, space in the joints, space between breaths. And then extend the left arm. Now notice when you extend the left arm, do you shift more weight into that right arm? Do you drop the right hip? Again, notice how the body compensates. See if you can navigate back to balance. Option to lift the right leg. Again, notice any compensations that sneak into your body. Lower the left hand, bend the right knee, the foot is flexed, and you press up and then you lower. Think about drawing the lower ribs to the hips so you keep that core engaged. Pause here, straighten the right leg, take it over the left and look over the left shoulder. And come back to center. Toes curl under. Either press back to child's pose or downward dog if you're ready. If you're in downward dog, just slowly begin stretching the legs towards straight. And see if you can take a peek at the heels. Make sure they're drawing straight back so that you're getting all three hamstrings in the back of the leg. If you're in child's pose, you're welcome to enjoy some gentle, sort of intuitive rhythmic movement as well. And we'll meet up at the back of the mat in a deep knee forward fold. So no need to hurry. Knees are bent, forearms on the thighs. And shift the weight a little bit more into the heels. Relax the head, relax the neck. Then press into the forearms and invite the shoulders to kind of hug into the back of the body. And as you press into the shoulders, do you notice, sorry, not the shoulders, the forearms, do you notice a little bit of a stretch across the collarbones? And now can you straighten the legs a little bit more, but you want to keep the forearms on the thighs. So most likely the legs aren't going to come all the way straight. And then take the hands to the hips. Imagine you're stretching your heels apart and inhale brings you all the way up. Take a gentle back bend here. Enjoy the back bend. Think about stretching the front of the hips, stretching the belly. Now, to avoid getting any pinching in the lower back, think about lengthening the tailbone, even dropping the buttocks muscles towards the heel. And if you still feel pinching, then come up a little bit. And now inhale, the arms rise up. Take a A little bit deeper of a back bend. Invite the back bend to travel up, lower back, mid back, upper back. And then exhale, release the arms down. And so we'll take a few minutes to do that lymph drainage. Just begin just above the eyes, just doing a little bit of tapping here. So you're using these 3 fingers. And then you go to the outside of the eyebrows. You come down to the eyes, down the cheeks, down the jawline. Go back up the jawline. And then travel down the neck. Here you might just do 2 fingers, depending on what feels better. Take your time here. This is one of the main parts of drainage. And then once you come to the collarbones, hover here and then travel away from the midline. And then back to the midline. Just spend a few more breaths, sort of intuitively tapping out here. And then pause and just do a little sort of brushing afterwards. And roll the shoulders back. Just notice how that felt. If you want to keep doing it a little bit longer, you're certainly welcome. And when you're ready, take a deep breath in, reach the arms up, gentle back bend. On your exhale, you fold. Just halfway, you want to keep a long spine. Press into the legs. Now, as you press into the legs again, draw the shoulder blades on the back of the body and stretch the front of the collarbones. And then next inhale, bend the knees, come into chair pose. Have the weight on the heels. Find a comfortable position for the arms. Maybe you can even lift up the toes. And then inhale, rise up. Take a gentle back bend here. Hold the back bend once again, stretching the front of the hips, the lower belly. And then flip the left palm up to the ceiling, grab the wrist and stretch to the right. Now try to keep the hips square. Inhale back to center and then switch sides. Inhale back to center. Release the arms, let them float down. And then inhale, reach up again, gentle back bend. On your exhale, you fold. Inhale, press into the legs, nice long spine. Next inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Inhale, rise, gentle back bend. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, press into the legs. Next inhale, chair pose. We'll do a little balance here. Shift the weight to the left foot, come onto the right, the ball of the right foot. Stay here, or you could also have your hands on a chair. On your inhale, press into that left leg and rise up. So pause here for a moment, level off the hip, really press into that left heel. Feel like that left leg is part of the spine. And then exhale, lower the right leg down. Come onto the ball of the left. Inhale, rise up, and just take a moment. This first round will take a little more time to get our alignment. Level off the hip. That usually means dropping the left hip down so that we're not just using the right leg. We want to use our core. Press into the right heel. Feel the right leg, an extension of your spine. Now exhale, come into your chair pose. Switch sides, rise up. Exhale, chair. Inhale, rise up, right leg. One more time, chair. Inhale, rise up, left leg. Chair. Inhale, rise up, right leg. And chair. Then inhale, rise up, take a gentle back bend, release the arms down and roll out the shoulders. Nice. All right, you can slide your blanket to the side. So the option here, we're going to take our leg lifts and step them forward. If that doesn't feel good on your balance, then you can just walk, sort of very mindfully. That's a balance pose as well. So begin stepping into the left foot. Inhale, let the right leg rise. Exhale, step forward. And then inhale, the left leg rises. Step forward. Inhale, right leg rises. Step forward. Inhale, left leg rises. And then exhale, release the arms down. All right, have your blocks or maybe a chair at the front of your mat if you like that when you're flowing in your warriors. Inhale, rise up, stretch, gentle back bend. And then exhale, fold just halfway. Press into the legs, nice long spine. So you can either take your hands on the chair or on the blocks as you step the left foot back and then you rise up. Hands are on the hips. So take a minute to just, for this first round, align your hips. They're both facing forward. Straighten the front knee. As you bend the front knee, draw the right hip back and the left hip forward. Hug the legs towards each other. So it's like you're trying to shorten the mat. And then stretch the legs apart. And then find the place in the middle for you. Inhale, the arms rise up. Now, as the arms rise up, can you keep the lower body heavy? So in terms of quality, the legs, the lower body is that earth element. And then the upper body is that air or ether element. Now, can you stretch your palms? And now on your exhale, we'll add a little water element. Straighten the knee and lower the arms. And then inhale, bend and stretch. And just repeat this with your breath. And you pause in your warrior one. Step forward, release. Inhale for the other side. Exhale, fold halfway. Inhale, press into the legs. And then exhale, hands can come to the chair or blocks. And we take the hands to the hips this first round. Level off the hips. Straighten the front knee. And then bend the front knee. Inhale the arms up. Hug the legs in. Stretch the legs apart. And then find the place in the middle. And then flow with your breath, straightening and lowering, and then bending and reaching. Yeah, just one more time, and then pause, holding in your warrior one. And then step forward, release. All right, so repeat that a little quicker. Inhale, reach up, stretch. On your exhale, fold. Inhale, press into the legs. Exhale, step the left leg back, come right into your warrior one. Now, option to take the hands to the hips, or if it's comfortable, clasp them behind you and then take the backs of the hands into the lower back. If you gently press the hands into the lower back, you might notice that the collarbones lift and the shoulder blades draw onto the back of the body. So you could stay here. And if your lower back is bothering you, you may want to take the hands to the hips before coming forward. But if all feels okay, invite a little heaviness into that back leg. And then on your exhale, you fold forward, coming to the inside of that right leg. And you may feel that earth quality in the legs. Try to relax the jaw, relax the face. Engage the core by drawing your belly button back. And then inhale, you rise up. Gently press the backs of the hands into the lower back. Then release the arms down. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Have your gaze at eye level on the wall in front of you. Now this time, invite that right foot to be heavy. Really press into the ball of that right big toe. And then let your gaze travel up the front wall, across the ceiling, coming into a deeper back bend, but you keep that right knee bent and you keep the weight focused on that right foot. And then inhale, come out of this, step forward and release. And just notice the after effects of that. Did that feel balancing, or was it too much? Or maybe you don't feel anything. It's good just to take the moment in between the poses to do a little check-in. Let's do the other side. Inhale, reach up, stretch, gentle back bend. On your exhale, fold. Inhale, press into the legs. Again, draw the shoulders back. Stretch across the collarbones, and then exhale, step the right leg back, rise right up into your warrior one. Option to take the hands to the hips or clasp them behind you, and then press the backs of the hands onto the lower back. Now notice as you press the hands into the lower back, there's a lift in the collarbones. And the shoulder blades are invited to drop down and in to the upper back. Stay here or come forward. Back leg is heavy, core is engaged. You might feel a little bit of that fire element. Continue to breathe. And then inhale, you rise up. A gentle press of the hands into the lower back to lift the chest. Release the hands and then inhale, the arms come up. Have your gaze at eye level. And then inhale, let the gaze travel up the wall, across the ceiling. Again, you just go to the degree that feels right. Now in the back bends, can you think about lengthening your tailbone, drawing your glutes towards the floor? So we don't want compression in the lower back. And then exhale, rise up and out. Nice. So we're going to step the left leg back. We're going to come into a wide-legged straddle facing the side of our mat. So have your hands on your hips, and once again, take a gentle back bend here. And then you come to neutral. Spin your right toes towards the short end of the mat. We're coming into warrior two, just from a different angle. And then you may want to just peel your left heel out a little bit. So hips are facing to the long end of the mat. The right knee faces towards the short end of the mat. Shoulders towards are over the hips, still facing the long way. Straighten the front knee. And then as you bend the front knee, watch it track towards the second and third toe. You can roll onto the pinky side of that front foot, activate the glute muscles here, keep that activated, and then lower the foot back to the mat. Inhale, the arms come up. Start with the wrists crossed. Stretch up, and then open the arms out. Stretch the palms of the hands. Take a look out over the right fingertips. And then inhale, straighten, squeeze the glutes. Exhale, bend. So repeat this in rhythm with your breath. And you're only bending the knee to the degree that it feels right in your body. And just notice if this warrior two feels different, coming into it from this direction. Just one more time. And then pause in your warrior two. Flip the right palm. So that right leg is heavy, the knee stays bent. And then inhale, reach up and back. Keep pressing into that right foot so that knee stays bent. And then inhale back to your warrior two. Take the hands on the hips. Spin the feet so they're facing the long end of your mat. And then switch the other direction. So spin the left toes out. Again, this back foot, you might want to angle the heel out if it feels better on the knee. So hips are not exactly in line with the long end of the mat, but that's the direction they're going. That left knee is facing towards the short end. Straighten the knee and then bend the knee. Maybe roll onto the pinky side of that foot. Feel the glutes engage. Keep that and then lower the foot back to the mat. Inhale the arms up. Wrists are crossed. And then you open up to your warrior two. Fingers spread. The palms are stretching. And then you flow. Inhale, straighten and reach. Exhale, bend and lower. Just two more times. And then you pause. Flip the left palm up. Left foot is heavy, and then reach up and back. Inhale back to your warrior two. Hands come to the hips. Gentle back bend. And then you'll come forward in a wide leg forward fold. It can be handy to have a block, or maybe you have your chair. You can also keep your hands on your hips. So you come forward and just notice where the weight is on the feet. Maybe shift slightly from the heels to the balls of the foot. You might find that as you're folding forward, you can take your legs farther apart. Now, if you know you lock your knees, have a little bend in them. If you know you have a tendency to bend them, think about stretching behind the backs of the knees. Now, with your hand on something, as you inhale, press into the hands, get a nice long spine. So we actually have a little bit of a back bend here. And then as you exhale, let the elbows bend and you draw the ribs towards the thighs. So two more times we'll do that pulse. Inhale, press into the hands. You come into almost a gentle back bend here. And then exhale, you fold. One more time. Inhale, you straighten the arms, gentle back bend. And then exhale, you fold. Inhale, press up. Maybe walk the feet a little closer together before you take your hands on your hips. And then inhale, you rise up. with a gentle back bend. And then heel toe the feet back together. And let's, so you may want to do, just depending on how your camera is, you may want to make your way to the back of your mat so that when we step back, you're still facing the camera, if that makes sense. Inhale, reach up, stretch, take a gentle back bend. Exhale, fold halfway. Inhale, press into the legs. Pause for the exhale. Next inhale, chair pose. And then inhale, rise, gentle back bend. Exhale, release the arms down. Step the right leg back so we're facing the long end of the mat again. Spin the right toes out and adjust the back heel. Inhale the arms up, warrior two. So we'll come into that flowing warrior. Take your right forearm on the right thigh. Left arm reaches overhead. And then inhale, come up to warrior two. Flip the front palm in reverse. We'll just do that one more time. Inhale, warrior two. Side angle. Inhale, warrior two. Hands on the hips and go right into warrior two in the other direction. So left toes face the short end of the mat. Hips are still facing the long end. The arms come right out. Left forearm on left thigh, right arm reaches over. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, reverse. One last time. Inhale, warrior two. Side angle. Inhale, warrior two. Reverse. Warrior two. Hands to the hips. And just heel toe the feet back together. All right. So the next option, this is a practical option, but it can also be a real quad and glute strengthener. So I'm going to demonstrate it first from a chair, and then I'll go to blocks, and then I'll go to no blocks. So everyone has a chair or something to sit on. So we're going to practice getting up out of the chair without using our hands. So you could do it on a table or any sort of surface. Doug, this is what we did yesterday. So if you want to just go into whatever variation you choose, you're certainly welcome to. So you're sitting at the edge of the chair. So this can be a very practical movement. So you'll begin first, you're at the edge of the chair, press your weight into your heel. So you get a little curve in the lower back, engage the core. So think about drawing your belly button back to your spine. So you're gonna move forward. So the weight's coming into the heels and then you stand up. So we're gonna repeat that. So you sit down, and of course, momentum's gonna make it a little bit less muscular. So you decide, and then you press into the heels and you rise up. So I want to add one more thing. So what I'd like you to look for is when you press into the heels, feel the glutes engage. So there's something in yoga that we call rooting and rising. So when you press down, there's almost like a rebound of energy that lifts you up. So when you press into the heels, feel that engagement, feel that little subtle rebound, and then take advantage of that as you come up. So stay with the chair if you like. The next option I'm going to do with 2 blocks. You could do with 2 or 1. Now, not all knees like this. So if your knee feels like it needs a little extra loving care, then stick with the chair. And even with the chair, if the knee's bothering you, I had someone yesterday where it was bothering them, you just practice shifting the weight and you don't even come up. If you want to try the blocks, we come to seated on the blocks, palms pressed together. You press into the heels, wait for it, and you rise up. And then you come down, keep the legs engaged. This can be a little scary because if you can't see the block. So just be mindful of all that. Press into the heels, cores engaged, and you rise up. What you don't want to do here is bend too far forward. So press into the heels and rise up. So the final option, so if you find something you like, you can just stay with it. The final option, we just have a little bit of a blanket roll to rest our heels on. And we're in a squat. So if a squat doesn't work for you, then this isn't a good option. So you press into the heels. So right when you press into the heels, you might feel this little rebound and you rise. And then exhale, you drop down. Press into the heels, wait for it, and you rise. So I'm just going to come take a look. If you have any questions, let me know. Continue to breathe. Very nice. Very nice. Just another round, and then we're going to stretch these babies out. All right, just one more round here, and then we'll pause in standing. Very nice. All right, so let's come to the floor. Have whatever you would like for Shavasana within reach. We will use a blanket. We will use a tie. It's always a good idea to have a block within reach. I'm not sure if we'll have time for it, but have the tie handy. So let's start just by lying on our back. Taking a nice exhale. Allowing the back of your body to connect with that earth element. And just signaling to your body that most of the effortful work is done, and now it's time for us to integrate and receive. So let's grab your tie. Take it on the heel of the right leg and extend your right leg up. Now, just notice if you lock your knee, or maybe there's a little unintentional bend in it. So find the degree that works for you. And take a moment to rotate your leg out. So we're rotating the leg and the leg bone, rotate it in. And notice which position feels tightest. And let's just pause there. So we're targeting specific hamstring muscles. So a lot of times when we do this, we're intentional about making sure all three hamstrings are getting targeted. But here we're just, because we're not weight bearing, and just take this opportunity to maybe give a hamstring that might be a little tighter a little more attention. And now I'm not pulling on the tie, I'm actually pressing the heel into the tie. And then let the toes come straight towards the wall behind you. So you've got all three hamstrings involved now. Option to let the left leg extend. The hand is on the hip. And now option to take that right leg out to the right. And this is where it can be helpful to have a block to maybe support the leg on, or a bolster. Have your hand on the left hip to keep that side of the body heavy. And then keep pressing out through the heel. Invite that opening along the inner thigh. Again, we have a lot of lymph here in the groin area. So this stretching can help to stimulate that. Now, if this isn't too much for your, your thought process, think about lengthening the inner thigh. So when we were doing the warriors, we talked about hugging in and stretching out. Think about stretching out on the inner thigh and hugging in on the outer thigh. So it's like you inhale, it stretches the inner thigh, then it loops around your foot and it hugs in to the outer thigh. Just one more breath. And then inhale, bring that leg up to center. So now for the piriformis, take the tie in the left hand and we'll just try this one first for the piriformis. You have the leg just 4 or 5 inches across the body. Keep the right hip on the mat. And take a couple of breaths here. All right, so for a deeper piriformis stretch, bend the left knee. And then it's like you're squeezing your thighs together. So you lift the left foot off the floor. You can bend the right leg and then squeeze the thighs together. And now you could take this into a twist if you like. Again, this isn't going to make all knees happy. So you can skip this and you could do the straight leg across the body. And if you are doing this sort of eagle legs, drawing the inner thighs towards each other. And then inhale up to the center, straightening the right leg if you had it crossed over. Just enjoy a nice hamstring stretch here. You can extend the left leg long. Then remove the tie, hug that right leg in. And enjoy a few breaths here. Let's take the other side. So draw the left leg in, the right foot is flat on the floor. The tie comes on the heel of the left foot. You extend it up to the ceiling, then rotate the leg in the hip socket and notice which direction it moves more freely and pause. And this can be sort of not so fun when we address the side where we have the least amount of flexibility. I invite you to just try it for today. Each time you exhale, invite those holding patterns to just release from the body. And then rotate the legs so the toes are going straight behind you. That right leg can extend long. Right hand on the right hip. Release the left leg out to the left. So the right hand is on the right hip. Now, once again, think about the stretch coming from the inner thigh. And it stretches from the inner thigh all the way to the foot. And then it's like it loops around the foot. And then something happens when it loops around the foot. And it's hugging now back in on the outside of the thigh. If that visual works for you. Now keep that left leg flexed. Just another breath here. And inhale, come back up to center. Take the tie in the right hand and then stretch the leg across the body, just a couple of inches. And we're targeting the outer hip here, the piriformis, the IT band. And if you want to take the leg across the body, you can. If you want to take that eagle leg one, the right knee bends, and then you bend, you eagle the left leg on top, sorry. And you lift the right foot off the mat and you squeeze the legs together, just like you would do an eagle. And then the option to let the knees lower to the mat, coming into a twist. But you want to keep sort of that action of hugging the inner thighs towards each other. When you're ready, come right back to center. Extend the legs long. And remove the tie. Hug that left leg in. Extend the right leg. Take a few breaths here. And then draw the right leg in. Make some circles with the knees, massaging out the lower back. And invite the head, the neck, the jaw to be relaxed. Reverse direction. Lower the left foot to the mat and cross the right ankle over, figure 4. So you can keep that left foot on the mat. You could lift the right leg up and hug it. The other option, if that doesn't feel good, you could slide a block under the right foot. And this is a way of getting a slightly deeper stretch without having to hug the left thigh or the right shin. Because sometimes when we're hugging one of those legs, our shoulders roll in our neck. So sliding the block underneath that foot can be a nice option. Again, when we do these poses as we're preparing for Shavasana, longer holds, less action, this may present a challenge to the mind. And sometimes the simple act of counting backwards is a helpful tool, or watching the breath. When you're ready, we'll prepare to switch sides. You can lower that right foot down. You can move the block to the other side if you're using that. And cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Just another breath, and we'll release that, sliding the block out of the way. Just extend the legs long. And gather any props you would like for Shavasana. And as you settle into Shavasana, just notice if the body's holding anything it doesn't need, and is there a prop that could be helpful? Sometimes sliding a blanket under the knees, maybe supporting the head gently. And with each exhale, just let your body release a little bit more into the surface underneath you. If your mind wanders, just gently direct it to either the breath or maybe counting backwards. Allow your next breath to be a little longer, a little deeper. And by gentle movements, maybe wiggling your fingers or toes. When you're ready, you can slowly transition to your side. Enjoy a moment to offer yourself gratitude for taking the time to do something good for your body, your mind, your spirit. When you're ready, you can make your way up to seated. And if you'd like to join me in a chant of Om, take a deep breath in. Om. Namaste.